All right, man. What's
up? How you doing?
How you doing? Glad to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time, man.
Of course, anytime.
So I'm doing an agent series.
Okay.
And this is to basically showcase who you are, tell the audience, and this is public and for the agents as well. So don't worry, and we can bleep some stuff out. Don't worry. That's
Keep
more
it PG anyway.
That's more for me anyway. So
for you.
you bring it out in me. I don't know, but I just wanted to get people to understand who you are. You've had amazing success with us. We have had a long history. You've been with me since prior to Realty ONE Group, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that relationship is long-standing. So, and I wanted to take the time out to say, I appreciate you as a friend, a great friend, and just our ability to joke around. But when business is business, we get that done too. So thank you for that, man.
Vice versa. I mean, there's the reason why I stay here. It's not just all about business. It's about the relationship that you have, not only with the other, agents in the office, but also with who is, kind of overseeing the whole thing. I like to have fun, but certainly, when it comes down to it, business is important too, and I think we have that good balance.
Cool, man. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Thanks for that. So, with this agent series that we're doing, for our audience, I want to highlight Daryl Temple. He's been with us for many years, as I mentioned, but he is the top producer for sales volume of this past year, and it's amazing. Daryl's work ethic is amazing, but he's balanced his family life. So we're gonna poke in a little bit and see how you do it. So congratulations for last year.
Appreciate it.
This year we're getting our asses kicked a little bit, right? With so far.
Holding my own.
You're holding your own. I'm just saying, the market's changed a little bit, of course, as of May. But that being said, we're gonna dig into your personality a little bit. All right. So tell us where you were born, raised. Give us a little bit insight of that.
Yeah, I'm a local East Bay native. I grew up in San Leandro. Pretty much my whole family lived in, very close to each other. Basically, I've lived here my whole life. I've gone from San Leandro and now I live more in the Tri-Valley area. But for the most part, except for a couple of years, I've really just made California and the Bay Area my home.
All right.
I grew up as the youngest. I had 3 older siblings, but they were actually quite older than me. So
I call you the accident.
I I was the accident. So I always told my parents that I was the best accident they ever had. So
we have that in common. I mean, I'm the youngest of 5, and I told my folks, I was like, hey, those were all prototypes until they came out with the final product, and they didn't need it.
Yeah, it took them time to to create the perfect thing.
Right.
So, but growing up, certainly my relationships with my brothers and my sister probably weren't the way they had their relationships because they were a lot closer. But over time, certainly those relationships have got a lot closer.
Good.
And now they realize that I wasn't that spoiled. But I think the youngest child always gets that, that thing. But
we end up doing sometimes the most, right? We end up having to do the most as the youngest sometimes.
I mean, certainly when they weren't around, so I was always picking up on the house, and I had to do all the chores and stuff like that.
I knew this conversation was going to go well here. But I didn't actually know he was the youngest, but that's great. That's good.
But I probably did have a little bit of an advantage with, my parents were a little bit better off at that time, and I think that's just understandable, and that's just the way, life goes.
I think for me, my folks were, by the time, they got tired. Right? So they were like, oh, okay, he wants to go out. All right, let him go and do this and do that. So I had a little bit more freedom versus the older siblings. My older siblings, they had to ask and get permission and this and that. So there's a little bit more questioning.
Sure.
So for me, I got a little bit away, but not too much. But
well, I think that works the way now. I have 2 children now. They're both teenagers, both boys. Right. But my older son knows, he was kind of like the test. We had to figure out how to be parents, how to do things we didn't know.
Sure.
And certainly, with the second one, we're a little bit more lax on things because we understand, okay, they're going to be fine. Everything is just you kind of do something,
Right.
you evaluate how it goes, and then you modify. And I think that works with not only, you know, my personal life, but my business life, and, you know, pretty much everything I do.
So that's another common trait that Daryl and I have. I have two boys as well, 24 and 22. So it's crazy how time just flies like that. So, and just shout out to Daryl. His birthday's tomorrow. So when this airs, we'll say it. You'll get some belated birthday wishes here. So let's dig in a little bit deeper. So on the business side, you know, I think you have a great mindset, from my opinion, as your broker, you know, and when we talk, and I never see you throwing an agent under the bus in a transaction. You know, you can get frustrated on the other side.
Yeah.
But I think you're very solutions driven. Tell us a little bit how you approach, you know, a transaction. What is it? Is it? Do you set a certain expectation? What is it that you do to keep yourself leveled?
Yeah, I don't know if I set a certain expectation, you know, because every transaction's different. Every buyer is different. Every seller is different. And I think we have to be able to modify the way we react to certain things, how we evaluate different situations, and how we're going to set the approach to make it successful for everybody. You know, what I've always thought is, you know, I've always known this is going to be like my long-term career. This is something that I'm just not, you know, here today, gone tomorrow. And relationships are huge. So, you know, yeah, not everything goes perfectly. Sure. Certainly you have some transactions where maybe the relationships aren't the way you would like hope them to be. But you have to be on it. You have to be professional. You can't put anybody under the bus, you know, because you just don't know what's going to happen if you do something like that. And it's probably not going to be the right thing. Right. You know, I want to make sure that whoever I'm working with, not only just on the buyer or the seller side, but also you know, if I have a transaction coordinator, or if I have, you know, the agent that I'm working with, the title company, that we're going to have a long, successful career together, and they're going to go, this is someone that I know I can work with in the future. Right. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's, you know, it's about that relationship and making sure that I am doing everything I can to leave someone with a good feeling, like, you know, that is someone who knows what they're doing, they're professional, and I know I'm going to have another successful transaction with them in the future.
Sure. And I think even, you know, some of the other Realty ONE Group offices that have reached out and they've connected with you, the feedback has been amazing about, you know, the combination of your level of service and professionalism. You don't make excuses for things, you know, and every transaction, I think sometimes agents get a little bit, that negative mindset starts coming up because they've had this pitfall or that pitfall, and they can just end up being into that, you know, wallow in that pool of stuff. But and I've seen it, right, and your transactions have been very challenging sometimes, right? We've got whether a foundation issue or something else. But what is it that keeps you balanced? You know, when you start your day, is there anything? Talk us through, like what keeps Daryl Temple ticking?
I mean, for me, I try not to get too stressed about anything. You know, there's always a solution. And I think the longer you do something, you know, now that I've been in this career for almost 20 years, you know, on one aspect or another, you know, you learn how to deal with different situations. You know, what works, what doesn't work. And, you know, I've learned that for me to have a good balance between work, family, me doing the, you know, things that I like to do as well beyond just work, you know, keeps me grounded. Right. And somewhere where that if a situation comes up that isn't, you know, the best situation, or is a really difficult process, that I can manage it. You know, being, you know, where I have my support of my family as well.
Good point. Renee?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, my wife, you know, and I think she's learned as well, like, you know, when we first started, you know, my career in real estate, it's not just a 9-to-5 job.
I like how you said when we started my career.
Well, it is. I mean,
No,
honestly,
great.
we're a team. So not just in what we do, but, you know, how we manage our kids, sure. You know, our everything. I mean, we don't always agree on everything, but I think we've learned that we can, manage each other and, know what we need to do to help each other out. So, yeah, I mean, she's just been a great resource for me to, to know exactly that I've got her on my side. And like I was saying, like, this is not a 9-to-5 job. So like,
Not at all.
she didn't, like, that was hard for her at first because, I would get a call at 9 o'clock at night or a text. And my thing has always been, if I'm around, if I'm available, if I'm not doing something else that maybe, I need to be with my family, I'm going to take that call. I'm going to take that text. Especially in this industry, I think it's very important. And she didn't understand that at first, of course, but that's understandable. She's like, what are you doing? Like, this is not, like, this is late at night. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything else. Like, it's okay. So she's learned, like.
Have her check. I mean, if she wants, I can vouch for you.
Absolutely, but you're the same way. I mean,
I am the same way.
I can text you at 11 o'clock at night if I really have something, pressing.
Sure.
And for the most part, you're there, I mean, and if you're not, I know you're busy, you're doing something else. Then that's important too. So
I'm thinking that as far as at least, history of us getting in touch with each other, it's always worked out. We've always had the ability to call. I'm sure you got my voicemail a few times, but you'll text me and I'll, call you back and we reconnect. But I'm glad that because, there's no way to sustain this kind of long-term business relationship that we've had just on friendship alone, because the business side has to work as well.
Sure.
Can't just be that. So, so what's your typical day? What do you start off with something just to, I want the audience and for me as well, like, how is it that Daryl can handle, like, what do you do to prep yourself for that? Because as you mentioned, you got your mind right. You approach the business in a certain way. You don't get stressed out. Yeah. What do you do to make sure that you don't let that happen? Because when I talk to agents, they do get stressed out. They do get, one transaction can ruin their day, their mind, and then it's that residual for the next few months. They might just be like, crap, this one, not next few months maybe, that's an exaggeration on my part, but at the same time, it can mess you up. And then it takes time to recover and then get back into the ring.
I mean, I don't think there's a secret sauce of like, this is exactly what you need to do to be successful, right? Because everybody works in a different way.
Sure, but for you.
For me, and it's probably different than others, is that, when I wake up in the morning, I've got to have my cup of coffee.
Right.
I'll probably get on the couch with my computer and just, kind of go through the things of, what's been happening since I went to bed, like emails and stuff like that.
I mean, we assume you're brushing your teeth and all.
Oh, yeah, probably doing that as well. But maybe not at first. Maybe I do it after I get on the computer. Who knows, Okay. But, I'm more of a nighttime person than a morning person. Sure. So for me, like, the nighttime is really where I, like, dial in everything, by the end of the day to make sure that I have no loose ends going into the next day. So like any emails, any texts, any, phone calls, I make sure that if I hadn't done those already or got back to someone, that I get back to them by that evening. So, people go, well, how do you manage like your texts and stuff? I usually go through all my texts of that day to make sure I didn't miss anything to get back to those people so that I know I've got that all done for the day. So I'm kind of like, I guess if we were in an office setting, I would make sure my desk was completely clean before the end of the day before I left. Right. And I think people in this industry, they just want someone who is on top of it, who's getting back to you, who's answering their questions. I don't always know their questions, so if I don't, then I'll find the resource to get that question for them, in a meaningful time. Right. So my day, I don't go into the office much. I use my office and my house mainly for my office. I see you grabbing some
chocolates from here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I come in your office, you got some good chocolate. So, I mean, when you only have hard candy, I'm out.
You're out. That's the way to get rid of every agent, right? Just hard candy.
If you want me around, you put in like some Reese's Pieces, and I'm good to go.
I get that, man. I get it. So let me ask you something personal. All of us are going through some tragedy or some challenge, some test. What do you lean on for that kind of thing? Because that can upset the balance of business. And it's even, me personally, whatever challenges I'm going through or have gone through, I have a formula to get myself right. But can you share with us what you do if you've experienced challenge? Because I mean, when I don't ask if someone has experienced a challenge, everyone has experienced something. Can we get a little bit deeper on that part and say, hey, is it church? Is it this? Is it that? What is it for you?
I think it's my support group for sure. It starts with, my family, my kids, my church that we belong to, the life groups that I belong to, whether it's like a men's group where they're there if, there's anything tough that I can reach out to them and I know they're gonna, get back to me. I mean, as not only, yes, you are the managing broker and the owner, but certainly you are also a friend. And I think we've established that relationship where if I have something that is pressing, I can also come to you. So the people that are around me, certainly, and also our church, really keep me, I think, in a good place. We've had, quite a few years over, my marriage and, just my real estate career that have not been easy. And, you kind of get, hit one way and then you get a hit right after and you get hit again. And without that support, certainly we probably would not have been able to just get back up and be able to stay grounded enough to, to make sure we're doing what we need to do, to make sure that, my family is feeling loved, that my job is, making sure that we're, making ends meet to support the family. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy for sure, but I think the people around you, really, if they're in on, what you're doing, and they're, you're certainly letting them know what's going on, like you don't want to hold anything in. Sure. They're gonna, keep you up so you can do what you need to do.
No, that's great for me, myself to understand that, because I think really what I'm trying to showcase to our audience and to other agents within Realty ONE Group, outside of Realty ONE Group, is that it really comes down to, again, in my mind, is the mindset. And I know that's a cliche term, everyone's talking about mindset, but I think in real estate, sometimes it's lost in the shuffle because we as realtors, sometimes the public just looks at us as like, hey, well, these guys have it easy. They just write up a contract, and yeah, sometimes the market becomes an order-taking market, but the real true professionals aren't doing that. Yeah. They're really looking out for their clients. They're really, like yourself, right? I have no hesitation to refer anyone to you because I know you're approaching it with the right integrity. And you've demonstrated that time and time again. It's not, the commission dollars are great. But again, there's no regular paycheck in real estate. There really isn't. I mean, and we've had great markets, we've had low markets, slow markets where we're going through a little bit of a dip right now. Interest rates are, when this airs, but it's the, a Fed is going to probably raise rates another 3/4. So that's going to impact us, right, in our business personally as well. Bay Area isn't cheap to live in, and you've got 2 growing boys. Any of the boys showing a little bit of leaning or liking to real estate? What do you think?
I mean, my older son, he just wants to make money. So, I mean, he's got.
Dude, maybe we got the same kids. We're related because my older son's that way too.
That's really all he cares for. I don't know. I mean, I want my kids to be able to do what they love, and that's why I think I'm successful at this job, is because I do what I love. I have always, yes, I didn't know, like, going into college, what I wanted to do. But then when I think back, like, even when I was a kid, like, one of my favorite things to do with my parents was to go see model homes and to go look at homes. I thought it was just the coolest thing to go, see what was out there. So for me, I do what I love, and that's what I want my kids to do, because I think that's what helps you also become, not just successful financially, but also just successful in your happiness. That you're in the right place. So if my kids decide that's what they want to do, then that's great. But if they want to do something else, then I fully support them.
All right. Well, I mean that, and that you hit the nail on the head. The maturity, the business acumen, the life acumen that you've developed, and those hard hits that we've taken at at least at my age. You're younger, but still at least whatever challenges come. I mean it doesn't go by age anyway. Sometimes people get a set of challenges at a much earlier age and they have to deal with it, and they may just not have the maturity and they will latch on to different things. But this is really helpful, I think, for me personally as well, to reach inside and what makes you tick, what makes you think, how do you approach things, because we all have a chance to learn from each other, right? That's the other aspect of it, and that's I think that's the reward for me. Sometimes are there things in real estate I don't really enjoy? Sure. I mean, because sometimes I'm the fire captain, right? And you guys are as well in certain deals when they're going sideways and this and that, and those are challenges. But it's navigating through those situations, and you've done a phenomenal job in doing that, and I really appreciate that, because I know I can lean on you from that aspect as well. So we'll put the seriousness aside. Let's talk a little bit more. What's your favorite music? I do ask this of agents, and I just want to see if maybe we are. I don't know.
I'm a mixed bag, so I mean, honestly,
what do we
I like it all. I mean, I do.
Come on, hold on.
Okay, so
Oh, let me. I'm going to stop you for 1 second, guys. We one night we were both in the office, and I think Tupac was playing or something, and we turned it up a lot.
Well, yes. I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area, 90s rap, and it was incredible. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm probably more to the liking of like 90s rap, maybe early 2000s rap. Right. The newer stuff I probably don't listen to as much, but if it's good, if it has a good beat, good message, then absolutely I'll listen to it. But I I grew up kind of with music as a background for me. Like that's kind of what I did when I was younger. So
talk about
but no, let's just like the music wise. I mean, I listen to rap. I listen to country. I listen to R&B. Right. I listen to I sing on my worship team. So I Christian music I love too. Opera. I mean, I used to sing opera when I was younger. So, wow. I mean,
opera, man. I didn't
I like
that.
It all. I mean, if it's good, then I like it. Yeah.
You're lucky I'm a nice guy, because otherwise I was going to be like, okay, do some opera right now. Could you do it?
That was past. That was like way long ago.
No, but I mean, the past is what makes us, right? So,
I mean, you got all different types of music playing in your office, and I'm usually whistling whatever it is.
Whatever it is. So, yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, the rap. I still love NWA. I know, controversial sometimes and whatnot, but Ice Cube, Dre, all these guys that Bay Area rap, not so much for me, at least. No harm, no foul. I mean, Too Short. My brother used to listen to Too Short all the time. So, but I had a little LA influence from that perspective. I grew up in LA partially, and then Central California. So that was the things I would be shout out to Fresno. Normally don't give Fresno any love, but I'll give you some love, Fresno. And now as a Realty ONE Group regional director, that is my territory too. And I actually asked for those territories because it brings back some good memories too as well. But man, it's always a great thing to chat with you. But tell me what else you were just about to say.
No. I mean, I think music for me is like just that also like just like really relaxes me. Sure. And just having that, like whether I'm just listening to it in the car or whatever it might be, it really just kind of keeps me, in a good place as well. Good. So, good. Yeah.
I was starting to listen to news like 24/7. I was like in the car all the time. Now I'm just like Sirius XM, Channel 8, 80s music. I like more of the 80s, from that perspective.
If I'm singing in the car, I mean, someone drives by, I can care less, whatever, like I'm just enjoying life.
Right. No, that's great. That's great, man. And this is a pleasure for me because I wanted to do this with you. I wanted to chat with you, and so making yourself available, I really appreciate it. Enjoy your birthday tomorrow, and the vacation, much well deserved. Looking forward to continuing to work with you. Sure. And thank you for everything, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
All right. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you.